still going there, but First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan is tracking the conditions and the whipping winds.
Yeah, that's a problem. The winds themselves aren't that strong. It's the change in wind direction that produces some complications. This is the location of the fire. It's well to the north and northeast of Napa, burning uphill. Humidity in the area is low, around 20%. As you go up in elevation, it's even lower, around 12 to 15%. The winds along the valley floor out of the south, around 10 miles an hour, only gusting to 15 miles an hour. That's not that strong. The problem is that farther up in the atmosphere, once you get to flight level of those air support crews, and even along some of the ridge lines, the winds are offshore. They're out of the north, so we have conflicting wind directions, which makes it difficult for the air crews to pin down exactly where to do their drops until they get very close to ground level, and it provides a challenge for the fire crews as the fire may shift the direction that it's spreading as it gets into the higher elevations. This is the current view as we look out from the top of Mount Veeder. So we're looking to the east towards the fire. So that's south, this is north. The fire is growing in this direction, but you can see how the smoke plume reaches straight up in the air there because it's being blown back to the south by those winds that change direction as you go higher up in the atmosphere. Now, part of the problem is that the fire fuels are so dry. The April rain that we had produced enough moisture to drop our fire fuel moisture levels down to about what's normal. That's the gray line here. The blue line is where we are so far this year. But since then, we've been so dry, record dry May, that now we're at record levels for fire fuel dryness. We measure it using a statistic called energy release component. You don't want to be near that red line, but it's exactly where we are. Now, the good news is there is a chance of rain on the way to the Bay Area. The bad news is it's not going to arrive for several more days. So still challenging conditions with the fire crews, still a couple hours of daylight left for them to utilize that air support and try to get as much containment as possible.
All right, Paul. Well, with this year's fire season expected to be one of the busiest ever, Contra Costa County is getting tough on homeowners who don't get their weeds under control. KPIX 5's